Hi, I'm Kamaksha Musmaru. This videocast I'm going to talk about how to set up CPP in Windows operating system. I would like to create a series of demonstrations related to C++ programming. I have an intention why I'm doing this, but I do everything for my students. There's no other reason doing this web series. This video I'm going to show you how to get the CPP compiler. So installing CPP compiler in Windows is not straightforward. We have to search for the Windows binaries. Actually the CPP, it is very straightforward to install CPP in Linux, but in Windows we need to search for the executable or Windows binaries, so which we can run on. There are many ways to get the compiler. Actually, we don't need to install the compiler. We have so many, IDEs, integrated development environments, which provide CPP compiler. One of the famous ways of, compiling the CPP program, C or CPP programs, is by using GNU G++ compiler. Okay. So, suppose if you are first I will show you how to get the compiler down, and then after that I will show you how to, wait a minute please. So one of the ways is to download the GCC compiler, GCC or GPP compiler, G++. So for that what you need to do is G++ compiler for Windows 10, and then I think there are many, this is one of the websites or maybe the portals of a particular university where there is a full compiler. I think this is not G++ compiler. This is a Cygwin, I don't know, kind of. See, you just have to either you click on this or click on right link, save link as or something like that. So I downloaded already in my computer, so like this. Okay, so you just have to right click and run as administrator. Now this will give you a guided screen, series of screens where you can just like this. Next, I think it is a new general public license. This is a Cygwin. Okay, so what I'm installing is nothing but the Cygwin B20, which we can also download straight away from the online sources. Now this is going to install into a particular folder called C:/Cygnus. Next, I don't know already if I already have one. Yeah, it is installing now. So it is Cygnus solution, something like that. I don't know, kind of, maybe somebody who provides this software. Now if you go to Cygnus, C drive, so you have Cygnus, and inside you got something like bin folder, and here you got the CPP compiler.exe and also GCC. You see here GCC. So if you open CMD Linux console or terminal, here you got G++ and version. Here's the version. See, I don't know C++ works or not. Version. Yeah, it's working well. So this is one of those. However, this is not a good idea. So downloading the compilers, downloading the compilers in this way is not at all a good idea. So what we do is actually we have many other ways to do that. Either we can get this. I already shown you how to get the Cygwin. Now I am going to show you another way of installing the CPP compiler. That is a MinGW for Windows, and this software is available in variety of ways, but we have to get executable file for Windows. Maybe if you go to, like here, you got some kind of installation winburst.org. I don't know. Let me take you there, and yeah, here you have the Windows based. So this is one-in-all solution, WinBuilds. It not only get you the GCC and the GPP compiler, but also many other things like you can see here, and it will take quite a bit of time. So I'm not going to do this anyway. So I have other ways of showing you how to get the compiler down to the computer. So this is my preferable way. And there is also another way of like WinLibs, I guess. I don't know. WinLibs. Yeah, WinLibs. Yes, you can also there is a MinGW GCC compiler MinGW. I think it will come as a bundle somewhere. Yeah, 7 GZIP file. It is free. So all this software is free. You don't need to pay even a single. So you will need. So you just have to compress, extract these files to somewhere, and then you can. So these are the many ways. Okay. So to get, the way I'm going to show you is the shortcut way. That is, there are IDEs. Okay, for student level, maybe for academics, to learn teaching learning purposes, we got CodeBlocks. Okay, IDE. So this is what it does is actually if you go here, I'll close all these. Lest it may. Now what happens? You have downloads here. So there are variety of files available for you. I think if you, I don't know where is this binary releases. Yeah, Microsoft, Windows, and here you need to choose one of the binaries which comes along with the MinGW. See here, CodeBlocks MinGW setup executive exe. I'm sorry, exe file. This is 32-bit. This is I think 64-bit. If you don't have 32-bit, then it should be 36-bit. So you have to go either of this. Either you can go to sourceforge.net or force. Let me show you. Let me. Yeah, it is just CodeBlocks 20.03 MinGW or something. I don't know why they don't have I mean their own way of I think why should we I don't know like why they are hosting on SourceForge and FastHub. Why don't they don't have their own. So now you can just open this, right click and run as administrator, and it is straightforward. You can just it is straightforward. You don't need to struggle for anything. It is just like any other software application. You just have to press next, something like that, and then it will. So once after, I already installed in my computer. I'm going to show you. If you open CodeBlocks, so this is just like this is how it looks like. Now when you open the CodeBlocks, it just looks like this. It is opening now. After a couple of minutes, I think, yeah, this is how it looks. Like you can just create a new project and open an existing project. I'll just minimize this for time being, and let me finish my other way of installing the another editor. There are many editors. Like I like the Eclipse, but for teaching learning purposes, I use either CodeBlock or Visual Studio Editor. Visual Studio Editor. Now what happens, the very first, this is code actually, please be cautious. We can also use code for CPP programming, but Visual Studio is good for so, but one thing I don't like with Visual Studio is that it is a heavy application. It's not a lightweight, it's a heavyweight application. Download Visual Studio. Now, you see, it comes like this, and just to save this, and when you open, it's altogether a different story. Okay, it opens. This is a community version, which is free. There are different types of Visual Studio editors. This is totally free because it is community version. I already installed it in my computer. I'm not showing you how to install because that is totally very base content. So Visual Studio, you see there you will get something like this here, Visual Studio, not the installer but Visual Studio, something like this. Now this just opens this is Visual Studio editor where we can start writing. This is the best editor perhaps I can tell you, because this is specially meant for CPP programs, and it supports many other programming languages like maybe I don't like Python, kind of Java. I don't know. Maybe may not be. I don't know. Kind of I use Eclipse for Java. The other one is Eclipse. So this is my favorite. You have to go to downloads, and you got one common web installer. When you download this, you will get something like a web installer, And it is also possible to install Eclipse. So after you open this installer, it will ask you like, which one you want to install. You want to install Eclipse for Java, you want to install Eclipse for C. By the way, Eclipse for C is called CDT. CDT. Eclipse CDT. CDT for Windows. Yeah, like this. Okay, if you go to C, this is specially meant for CPP programming. Okay, CDT download here. See here the download button. CDT is C development tool chain or tooling. I think tooling. It's not tool chain. So this is another way of a fantastic way of working with CPP programs. So now, for this series of web, I'm going to show you how to. Now the installation part is over. So I've shown you how to install the raw compiler. So there are 3 ways. There are 2 ways actually. So you can either install the CPP compiler for C++ programming, using Cygwin or maybe MinGW. The other one is the CodeBlocks, just like this, and the 4th option is Visual Studio Editor, and the 5th option is Eclipse. And for teaching, learning purposes, I think CodeBlocks is good because it has very simple ways of creating the projects or something like that. Now, when you open the CodeBlocks editor, it just looks like this, and it has a beautiful I don't know, kind of, this is welcome page, and where you can find the create a new project. You just have to press this. You see what a varieties of things you can do with CodeBlocks. You can also use this for Arduino development and kind of Fortran development. We can build the Fortran GDK applications, and I think Android is also there, I think somewhere. Widgets for Windows applications, Qt applications, OpenCV applications, quite a few. Some microcontrollers and MATLAB development. There are many things. So when you just have to press on create new project, then go for the console application, and CodeBlocks will ask you like what do you want to do. Okay, C or CPP? Yeah, I want to develop the CPP. Now I say maybe my first demo, something like that. You see here, CodeBlocks will automatically. It will not automatically. I'm already working with this editor. That's why it's trying to spot some certain workspace. I mean, workspace in the sense like the place in your computer where your work is being saved. Now this goes to D drive work, but in case if it is blank, then you can just press this button so that you can choose your own path. Now this is CodeBlocks project CPP, and this is very essential. One of the main files in your project, which is highly useful while opening the projects. Okay. Right now we have been creating the project, so that's why. Now resulting file name is this one, my file demo.cpp. This is what is the file for the entire. This is the project file. Okay, not the C++ file. Okay, next. Yeah, I want to make use of. There are quite a few varieties of compilers here. I want to use no GCC compiler, which is the standard and the benchmark for C++ programs. And it is just telling you like I want to create 2 different folders, one for debugging, the other one for release, and both debugging and release folders are going to have 2 other folders by path, one for bin debug, object. So this is actually for the object files. When we compile the C++ programs, and there are varieties of ways to do that. Sometimes we compile to a assembly level file, and sometimes we compile that to an object file called, when we do that, it is C compiler is going to create .o files, something like that. And there are varieties of ways. Right now it may not be important. Now finish. You see here you got the project tree, my first demo versus main CPP. So when you double click on this main.cpp, which is the source file, where you are going to write your C. I think CPP programs. Um, the very first the line is as usual, like when we are writing the programs. Um, in in the beginning, we try to make the imports, and here we are importing a library called IOStream, which is highly essential for dealing with input-output tasks that might be done by this program or script, and then using namespace. These are the two default statements. So we are creating a namespace. This workspace and namespace are two technical things associated with programming. I'm not going to talk about what is the namespace and all of things. So we are just creating a namespace whose name is std, and through this namespace we are going to invoke few commands from this library. One of the commands which is used inside this program is cout. This is an output. This is a command which is useful for writing information to the standard input-output console. I mean, writing the information to the console, something like that. Now, at this point in time, we have whole program. This is actually a sample program which we can delete and write our own program. So that's the difference. So we got this is the very first statement. This is related to the imports. In C, we use a keyword called include to use a library, standard libraries which we get when we install this CodeBlocks IDE. Okay, and using namespace as std. And this is actually the main method. Every C program needs to have one method, and that should be the main method. We can have quite a few other methods, but main method is actually a doorway, like this is actually the main entrance through which we make use of the assets that lie behind this script, something like that. So I can, if I want, I can also create a file, add a file, or maybe I can go here, file, sorry. I can go to the file and new and then hello file, something like that. I can create one more file, CPP file, or maybe header file, or maybe object file, or whatever it is. So now since I already have so this program, what it does is that this is actually the logic. So the logic always will be inside the main. We can also have the logic outside the main function, but the int, this is a main function which is of the type int. And this is actually the block, code block, or curly braces. Whatever we keep inside the curly braces is a code block. And we have cout, which is output function. I don't know whether it is a class or function, I don't know. But this is a command which we require to write anything to the console from the program. And this command comes from IOStream. And there is another command called endline. This is endl. Something like that. So this return 0 is the default statement. We are not going to return anything. That's why there is 0 here. Otherwise, we'll return. If we return, main program is usually will never return anything. Okay. User methods. This is actually the system level method. We're not going to return anything from this method. But if I develop my own function, something like here, okay, void, something like that, I can write my own function x, y, z, and then this is a user function. So here I can choose to return something. So whatever it is, like return 10, something like that. I don't know. So, but here this main method will never return as usual. So that's why we write. So many people are confused, like why do we need to? In other programming languages, we are not going to write this. Only in CPP we have. So this program just prints this message to the console because this is a console application. Okay. Now save. And then if you press F9 in CodeBlocks, it just executes, build the source code, and then run the source code. That is what is the if you press any key on your keyboard, it disappears. And now you see here, this is actually there is a little icon with the gear as well as run symbols. If you press, same thing will happen. So I pressed F9 instead of pressing this icon. So if you want to press this one, this is okay. This is for build, this is for run, this is for build and run. So we want to build and run. Maybe sometimes you can just build, and maybe sometimes you can just run. This is built already, so you can just run. You don't need to build again and again and again. Once you build, then you can run forever, because it is just going to create if you go to the there to the system, where do I have this? I think in CPP, my first demo, you see you got binaries. There is a debug file here. This is executive file. Sorry, I don't know why I'm calling executable file. So this program, when we build, this creates a binary folder, and inside which we have executable version of our project. And then we got object files here. They are called debug files. And by the way, main.io, main is our main source code, this one. So this is how we can install compilers and editors for CPP programming, and I also explained you how to write a sample process. And by the way, if you think that I may be cheating, I'll just change the statement. Hi, maybe kind of Dr. Kamakshaya. So as a matter of belief, save F9, and now hi Dr. M Kamakshaya, something like that. And I can also create a variable say a string name is equal to Kamakshaya. And now I can come here and I can make hi. Okay, instead of hard coding this, I can just use name. Save. Then if I press F9, I got hi, and then name. And this is just going to, I'm writing name. Now F9. Expected, I don't know what is this, expected comma or colon before cout. Okay, here I think I do a lot of mistakes. Now hi Kamakshaya. So here there is no space. If I give a little space over here and see hi Kamakshaya, something like that. So like this we can start writing the programs using. So in this section I just explained you how to install the base compiler using Cygwin, number 2 using MinGW, and using CodeBlocks, and using Visual Studio Code. I have not shown you how to install, but I have shown you the various sources from where you can download the software and then use it. Thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for the new content, and please subscribe to my video channel, and also don't forget to like the video button. Thank you.